Welcome to another episode of From Startup to Wunderbrand with Nicholas Kuhner. You may have noticed my twin on the other camera here. This is Chris Seminatore, Navy veteran, digital nomad, and founder of Geofencing.com, a specialized digital marketing firm that helps firms harness the power of location-based advertising to drive measurable results. Now, that makes him sound extremely boring, but the industry is actually very exciting. Imagine you could get your adverts directly to the people who were in the area where your product or service actually is. Isn't that better than just throwing your money on Facebook, Google, ChatGPT, and all of these things and hoping that you're going to get a bite? It's all about fishing where the fish are. So, Chris, welcome.
Hey, thanks a lot, man. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here, and I really appreciate the hospitality that you've shown me so far. Thank you so much.
I saw other photographs of you on Twitter or X, for example, with no mustache, and I'm trying to decide whether we should, when we do post-production, keep the mustache or remove it. What do you think?
I'd say it's tough, man, because my wife gets real mad because, women get aggressive around me when I've got the mustache, and I just don't. So I did have it down to here, but then it was just too much, she couldn't have it. So I had to shorten it a little bit and kind of.
Yeah, we've got to try our luck. I mean, we've got to try and push the boundaries. So anyway.
That's a sharp beard you got going there, man. Absolutely, brother.
Yeah. Now, well, I'm in Norway, so I have to bring the Viking feel as well. Now, you worked in the Navy, you've worked in TV, you've created a multitude of websites, you've worked in financial services, websites again, and you've had quite a varied career. And as people can see, you are not exactly a corporate office type. So where are you at the moment, Chris?
Currently, I'm in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, and I'll be back in Los Angeles here in a couple of days and then back down here. So kind of bounce around quite a bit.
Yeah. So a digital nomad as well. Now, how do you manage to run a 7-figure business based out of a beautiful place like that?
It's tough, man. It's tough, but you got to kind of bear down. I love what I do, and that helps out a lot. I love working with the clients that we have. We got about 1,200 active campaigns right now. So, I mean, just very fortunate to be doing what we've done. We built it up over 7 years now. So we've got a lot of experience, got a lot of mistakes in the past, and I'm sure we got a lot in the future too coming. So,
Let's talk a little bit about geofencing and your particular niche. Now, a lot of folks have probably never heard of geofencing. Honestly, I've looked at location or targeted advertising, but that's about as detailed as I've got. Talk to me a little bit about geofencing and how your business, came about.
Okay, essentially what we do, Nicholas, is that we take a digital parameter, we put it around a physical location. What that allows us to do is capture the information from people's cell phones off the location reader. Now, once we have that information, we can start distributing ads to them across websites, apps, even television, wherever they go, we distribute programmatically. And what I mean by that is like whenever you bring up a website or an app, there's like 100 millisecond delay. We have algorithms that bid on the available advertising inventory of that website or app. That's the way we're able to get ads in front of a very targeted audience. And like a lot of times, just say for an example, we'll go ahead and geofence a competitor of one of our clients. And that way we can get in front of the audience of that competitor's, his clients. So it presents them with a different option, shows them offers, things like that. And plus, that person is using that product or service as well. So they're a very good candidate for whatever business you have.
A lot of people do a shotgun approach on the internet by using Google ads, putting money on Facebook. And if anyone has done Facebook ads, your audience when you first start out is 5 billion or however many billion people. And as you filter it down, it gets lower and lower and lower and lower and lower. I think that talks to the point of why geofencing is so important. Is geofencing more expensive than, for example, a general Facebook ad or a general Google ad?
Not at all. Not at all. Depending upon the two things about it is very effective for small businesses, but also it can scale almost infinitely. So, I mean, we've got both sides of the spectrum right there. We can work with a small business where, say you want to do 100,000 impressions over a 30-day flight, that's going to cost you about $850 on targeted display. If you want to do video ads, which I highly recommend, man, we are seeing so much traction with video right now. It's going to run you for 100,000 impressions, it's going to run you about $1,600. That's just starting out. So it gives you an idea where the starting point is, and then the ending point. I mean, we've got clients spending $20,000 or $30,000 a month on video.
I've had a couple of interviews with media companies, and I've always asked, what is the most expensive cost per click you've ever had? So I'm going to ask you, Chris, can you remember what the highest cost per click you've ever seen a client have?
That's a tough one, man. Like a high cost per click, that's bad, right? I mean, the way that you look at it, yeah.
$890 is where I've got to. So if you can beat that, you'll get a free
$90,
hat.
man.
And I'll tell you what that's for. That is for if you've lost your leg working on an oil rig.
Wow. Well, that's not
So
a bad
that is
$80 spent. You know what I mean? That's not bad at
exactly. I
all.
mean, if you imagine what kind of payback you're going to get on that, and that's obviously a very targeted click.
Oh
Okay,
man. Yeah.
but
I mean,
anyway,
that's a good $890 spent, man. The way I look at it, absolutely, brother. Yeah. So,
exactly. Now, I see some of your offerings here. You've got obviously geofencing, which is very targeted around a very small area. And this is perfect for businesses like restaurants, real estate. You're going to have to give me some other ones here.
man, attorneys, car dealerships, anybody, plasma collection. We got a lot of clients that are AI solutions providers for government agencies. And so we geofence like the CIA headquarters, the FBI headquarters, the NSA headquarters, because what they want to do is they want to get their brand in front of the decision makers at these agencies. And that's what it does, because everybody likes to do things that they're familiar with. You know what I mean? By getting that brand in front of those decision makers, it becomes more familiar. We also geofence trade shows, geofence a trade show and capture the audience that's attending that trade show and get your brands in front of those people. There's a lot of different things that we can do. I mean, it just really depends upon the objective of what the client is looking for, what they want to accomplish.
Why don't more people know about this?
Well, in the United States, it was illegal till about 10 years ago. And we were using this technology back in 89, man, 1989. I was in the Gulf War, did a couple tours in the Gulf War, and we would effectively use the same type of technology to go find people or platforms that we want to talk to, locate them where they're at.
What did you talk to? Now, another area where geofencing works is obviously political candidates and political
Dude.
parties. So things like obviously elections, local elections, and so on. Talk to me a bit about, because obviously that's quite a big business in the US. Talk to me about how valuable geofencing is going to be if you are running a campaign.
It is very valuable, very cost effective because you can hit the voters that are specifically within that district and not waste a single penny on ad spend. And you can also, I mean, there's a lot of different things that you can do. If you want to use location, you can hit different locations where a candidate has more of appeal than, say, some other places, depending upon the demographics that they're looking for. So there's just a lot of different tactics that we can use to reach the exact voters within the districts, which other marketing channels really don't have. So for political campaigns, if you're not using geofencing, you better hope your opponent isn't either. You know what I mean? It's effective, brother. It's effective because a lot of times when people go to the polls, they don't really have a familiarity with the different people that are running for different offices and whatnot. And like I've voted before, and I'm like, oh, okay, I like his last name. I'll do this guy, things like that, which really scares me that our political candidates are decided by people like me. I'd hate to be on a jury, put it that way.
Your words. Now, you also have something called geofencing for OTT. Now, for those who don't know what OTT is, maybe just give us a crash course in OTT for those overseas who don't have Roku and Hulu and all of these strange services.
Well, OTT and CTV, that's the connected television. Essentially, if you're getting your television from the internet, that's OTT, CTV is what it is. And what it does is it offers a lot better advantages as opposed to putting a commercial out on broadcast the old way. And I think OTT has taken over broadcast. It surpassed like 50% a couple months ago, from my understanding. Yeah, so what that does is it allows us to get a very targeted demographic and get the commercials in front of a very, targeted audience of who you want to put commercials in front of, as opposed to broadcast. And not only that, the reporting is incredible. We can tell you exactly who watched your commercial at what time, things of that nature. It was showing, there's a lot of different things you can do with OTT. We can do addressable campaigns. Like say you got 1 million people and you got their addresses. We can upload those addresses and then run commercials to those 1 million people. So it's very, very targeted, and the reporting is insane, granular.
Yeah. So I think what this boils down to is in an era where most marketers are aware of Facebook, Instagram, and platforms like that, a lot of folks who are perhaps struggling to take their business to the next level and really reach customers or do retargeting should obviously consider geofencing. And since you're the first agency that has been talking about geofencing that I've had in over 2 years of doing this, and I've nearly got 200 episodes, it means that it's quite a niche. This is not something that the whole world is doing or that the whole world is talking about, because I think this could be a real competitive advantage for companies who take advantage of this versus trying to do their Facebook ads alone or just use a generic media agency.
Absolutely, 100%. I mean, there's so many different advantages by putting a location in your marketing mix. And it can really, I say the more marketing channels you have, the better. But for this right here, because you want people to see you everywhere. What is it? 7 touches to a sale is an old cliche, but that's very true. We're usually like first touch, second touch, get in front of the people that you want. And then any other way that's like bringing the horses to the water. Any other way that you can get them to commit or convert, it's what it takes right there. And
Now,
a lot of businesses and services know who their audience is. They know them intimately. So what this does is give you an opportunity to be able to take a look at your audience and expand upon that audience as well.
so I guess it means that your client needs to know quite a lot about their business, their customer before they come to you almost. I mean, I'm sure you can do a lot of that, but it helps if the customer says, I know exactly who my target market is. This is my persona. This is the area that I'm in. And that'll save you time and also save them money.
Absolutely. And it's not real brain surgery to know who your client is. I mean, like say you're a car dealer. You know that your clients are going to be going to competitor dealer locations. You know that the people that go to those locations are shopping for a car. So you've got intent right there. And then all you want to do is you want to put a message in front of them saying, hey, you've got this option. Hey, we've got this truck cheaper. Hey, we've got this, before, because usually I think it's like a 2.3 lot visits before somebody purchases a car, something along those lines. And what it is you've got a very captive audience right there. Somebody's on a dealership lot looking at cars. They're looking to buy a car. I mean, that's why I get back to the brain surgery thing. It's not.
Yeah. Well, I was dealing with quite a lot of telco companies in Malaysia in my previous role. And what was quite amazing is the amount of information that the cell phone towers give you, or that the companies that run the cell phone towers have, in terms of what model phone you've got, how many times a day you've come past that particular pylon. And they can really build a picture of this individual. Obviously, as consumers, we might be slightly concerned about how much information is shared about us. How secure is your information? If somebody is putting up their mail list, for example, that mail list has to obviously be from people who have said, yes, please send me information, right? How do you check that you're not spamming people, Chris?
Well, it's not spamming because it's passive advertising. It's on your
Okay.
television, it's on your websites, it's on your apps and things like that. And essentially, advertising is the currency of the internet. I mean, that's why foxnews.com is free, is because they get to show you ads where they're showing. So it's not spamming in any sense whatsoever. And it's not an invasion of privacy either. What it's doing is just giving relevant advertising to you. Let me lead with the point that location is the strongest indicator of buying intent. The places that you go really show what products or services you're there to purchase. And that gives you a real profile of the person that you're looking for. And as far as privacy goes, man, privacy is non-existent. It's been non-existent for a while. I'm just being dead honest with you. I mean, yeah, I mean, if you have any type of expectation of privacy, the only way to do that is completely unplug from any type of internet or network. I don't even know how you would do that these days, to be honest with you. If you're going to do something you ain't supposed to be doing, don't bring your cell phone. I'll tell you that, Nicholas.
So if I wanted to sell the Ayatollah in Iran an insurance policy, you'd be able to help.
Absolutely, man. We haven't ran any campaigns in Iran, but we ran them over in Switzerland, South Africa, Canada, Mexico, almost daily. Yeah, we're all over the place. We geofenced the World Economic Forum up in Davos, Switzerland, for a financial company, and captured all the people that were attendance at that meeting. So that's pretty neat.
Now, that is so smart. When I was working at a large international brand agency, our marketing was so specific that we put a billboard outside a CEO's house that we were trying to reach. So in terms of understanding your market and making sure that the person that needs to see it, I mean, that was really expensive, and that is an extreme example. But I mean, that's pretty much what you're doing. You're basically, with that WEF, you're making sure you can hyper target your market. I love that. Now, I just want to I want to touch on it again, because you were a crypt tech in the US in the US Navy, and obviously you've gone through the process and you've been deployed. Has that had any impact on your working life in terms of how you run and structure business or deal with clients? I know you've been asked this probably a million times, but if you can just tell me, coming from a military background, you're also one of the first military people I've spoken to in advertising. So it'd be really good to get your, insights into why you went into this field as well.
Well, I tell you what, the military has taught me a lot. It's taught me a lot about discipline, getting up every morning, making sure, clearly delineating what objectives and whatnot that you want to accomplish, what steps you need to take. It taught me about reverse engineering, seeing where I want to be and then figuring out the steps to get there. Working backwards basically was one of the things. Adaptability, resourcefulness, things of this nature came into, they were in everyday play, what we were doing. So, all those different lessons combined kind of really helped me build this agency and have it the way that I wanted to have it. Because we always put the client first. I always ask myself, would I be a client of me? And we treat everybody in that manner as well. So it really taught me that. It taught a lot of respect. It taught being honest and transparent with everything. Yeah, I'm sure you're aware, Nicholas. Not all campaigns, go to the moon. They don't. And just let them know, give them every best effort that you have. And then always dealing with people as the way that you would want to be dealt with. That was important, super important with our agency. That's why we're very, very blessed to have the clients that we have. A lot of stuff comes through referral. A lot of clients come back. That's how we've been able to build our business, and just having those intrinsic qualities that were kind of imparted to me through the military helped us build this thing the way that it needed to be built, to be honest with you.
I suppose being able to give bad news in a positive spin is also a skill that you potentially have. I'm going to ask one last. I'm going to use my psychic brain here, but I'm going to guess that one of your role models or somebody that you look up to is General Patton.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. General Patton, man, way to go, Nicholas. I got to watch out, man.
He's my favorite, and I use one of his quotes or his processes in my digital marketing lecturing, which is I try not to tell my students how to do everything. There's a bridge or there's a river. I need you to get over it. And I think it was Omar Bradley said, well, why don't you tell them exactly how to build the bridge? They needed a pontoon. And he said, well, actually, they would probably do it better and faster without me explaining every single minute detail. And it absolutely works. They generally come up with completely different ideas and better ways or faster ways or more innovative ways of getting over that bridge. Over that obstacle.
Nicholas, that's a wonderful point you just made, man. Absolutely. And I couldn't agree with it any more than I do with you. That's a beautiful thing to say right there, man. It is. That's a great quote by Patton as well.
Yeah. So, there's tons we could talk about, but this has been quite a quick fire session. So, Chris, I just want to say thank you. And if people want to get in touch with you, if people want to know, we're not going to talk about the funeral industry or interesting things like that because my dad was an undertaker for a while. So that's close,
Wow.
It's a business I'm dying to get into. But interesting to talk about some of these things later on and about being in a very dangerous part in Mexico. So,
absolutely, man. Absolutely. To get in touch with us, go to getgeofencing.com. You can schedule an appointment with us. We'll sit down with you. We'll talk with you. We'll go over what your objectives are, give you a couple of different tactics and strategies to be able to accomplish those objectives and just kind of go from there, man. Absolutely. And we're wide open to everything.
Great. Chris probably knows where you are already, but if you'd like to get onto that website, it's getgeofencing.com. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Nicholas. I really appreciate your time, sir. Thank you, brother. Talk to you soon.